per game, it was 1500 elo.
Yeah.
Years back. You find a team, you make sure you gel as people, and then you train as a team. Give it some time, you train up, you learn. That's how you get this stage. And MYM showing you what perseverance gives you. Oh, picks and bans. Very quickly done. Rumble, no surprise. Xin Xiao, no surprise. Vi, back in there to the European team. Snoopy was trying it a lot during Super Week. Didn't seem to work out for him. It's a very new style of jungler to what he's used to. He's usually a very supportive jungler, like some Maokai, Skana, slower ones perhaps, just setting up the kills and helping out his team. Vi, on the other hand, very aggressive. And unfortunately, we've seen a couple of times he used that assault and battery and gone way too deep into the enemy team. Just got caught out by flashes and dashes and Thresh abilities, lanterns pulling him way deeper than he should have been. So, not quite there.
Thresh, Lux, and Needly not wanting to deal with those long-range pokes, not wanting to deal with those champions. Anivia is still available, though. I do have to point that one out, as is Renekton, as is Shen. From what we've been seeing out of Evil Geniuses over the last few weeks, it wouldn't surprise me to see probably all of those particular picks in their roster if they decide to run, that kind of thing. Something that we've been seeing from Yellow Pete and Crepo has been the Varus and Lulu bottom lane. So it will be something to keep an eye out for. MYM on the other side, they have decided to lock in Elise and Twisted Fate. So mid laner and probably top laner, possibly jungle.
Charu has a very strong Twisted Fate, so it's going to be exciting to see exactly how he goes with that. But he is against Froggen, arguably one of the best mids in the world, most consistent mids in the world. Do you want to comment on the KO? It's the first time we've seen her played. She's been banned out in a lot of previous games, but you also got to look at, again, don't want to mention it too much, but Super Week, Diamond Prox was interviewed, Alex with a translation of types.
Yeah.
And it was mentioned they banned out KL against EG simply because it is one of Snoopy's best junglers. He is very, very good on that KO. So
this is one of the first games,
or if it goes to Froggen, we'll have to wait and see. But that is a very strong pick in EG's lineup.
This is one of the first games where KL has not been banned and was insta-locked by Wicked.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen her first pick. She's picked straight up by there. Froggen does have that Shen at the moment. We mentioned going to be in every game. Possibly up in the top lane, does suit Wicked very well, just sits in that top lane, just farms and pushes, farms and pushes, farms and pushes. So we'll see whether those two switch or if Snoopy ends up taking it to the jungle. I mean, they might not have decided yet. They might wait for the rest of MYM's picks to go with it and opt for their decision. Hovering over Twitch. Vayne is a big one for...
that would be an interesting one. When we see the Vayne being picked in, and the reason I say so, during the build-up to this particular matchup, in the game lobby, I threw my eyes down every now and again, and there was actually a bit of trolling back and forth saying Vayne Sona equal OP, no Vayne Zyra equal OP. So seeing the pick over Vayne, Markler we know can play a very, very good Vayne, but... it was interesting that a champion that was potentially going to be picked being used almost as bait in conversation. And you cannot stress enough the effect that it's going to have on your psychological state in the game going into it. But you can see here a Nocturne being locked in. I think it's going to be the first Nocturne of the World Champions.
Definitely.
And again, the power that it has, the ganking potential when you pair that up with a Twisted Fate is terrifying. You're going to have that Paranoia coming in, you're going to have Destiny coming in, and all of a sudden, within the matter of a second and a half, 2 seconds, what was a 1v1 is now a 3v1 and you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, 4v1 sort of thing when you got both of them involved. And it does work very well against Shen. I mean, Twisted Fate, yes, he can roam a lot, he can gank a lot 1-6. I mean, you can leave it this way. Makati going to sit there in the jungle and he's not trying to just farm, just go through the camps, farm and farm and farm, get very strong. Doesn't actually need to gank in so far these lanes. I mean, Elise is going to be very strong 1v1. Twisted Fate can be a very strong 1v1. Can gank on his own, he hits 6. We'll see what their bottom lane is, but Zyra tends to be pretty safe laner, can be quite aggressive, can be quite safe if needs be. So he can just sit there and farm and farm and farm until he hits 6. And he hits 6, and he still doesn't need to gank. He can keep farming, keep getting stronger, and then use his ultimate to counteract the Shen ultimate. So, all right, we're going to take a fight. We're expecting Shen to ultimate.
Xerath.
Keep your ears open. If he does, then Nocturne comes to join him. And yes, there's that Xerath pick. We saw it a lot during the NA Super Week. He has incredible poke ability, that artillery. He does what Lux does. Yeah, it's arguably that Lux does it better at the moment. That's what a lot of players are doing, but a lot of people are trying it now with Xerath, figuring out how it works. It's the fact that he has to go immobile when you activate that W to get the most out of his damage output that a lot of players didn't like. However, now they've started to use him more, practice him more, start to position themselves a bit better, rather than using it to initiate a straight up fight down in the mid lane, using it hiding over a wall, planting the wards out, getting the vision, using it to just chunk down even a tanky player, just getting them low, making sure they have that effective 4v5, because one guy's going to get one shot by your AD carry, can turn the tide of a fight, and his cooldowns aren't pretty long. His ultimate, 40-50 seconds, so you can do that once, push them off an objective, you don't even need to fight. Push them off a dragon, push them off a baron, take that objective, back away
He's the
again,
ultimate
and it'll be
siege
up
cannon.
again in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, he's the ultimate siege cannon. He's got a huge, huge range. Something that we'll see Froggen doing time and time again, I'm 100% sure of it. He's sitting just outside of vision, throwing out that Arcano Pulse and just, using the range and the lack of vision on your skill shot to land multiple hits. We've seen it over in NA, actually, where Xerath would use his ultimate, get 1.5 or 1 or 2 procs down before the defending players even knew that they were being hit by it, because, of course, it does take that second or two to load up. You can see the players there on your screen. MYM, they are on the left-hand side of the screen. Evil Genius is on the right. It's going to be an awesome game, and it's definitely one that Jarrett has been looking forward to.
I'm excited. I'm actually a pretty big EG fan. I know there's another game that made famous the EG curse. Now I think that's silly superstition, but the results haven't been so great since they joined EG. Would love to see them do very, very well at this
They have
tournament.
their ups and downs, everyone.
Everyone has their ups and downs, except me. The players are ready. We're all ready. The fans are ready. I hope you're ready at home. We're going to throw it over to the casters, Jason Kaplan and Joe Miller. Have fun.
So here we go then, Evil Geniuses versus Meet Your Makers. We've already seen, Jason, in the last 2 days, 2 non-LCS teams upsetting 2 LCS teams. Is this going to be number 3?
It always can happen. We saw them at Cologne. They took Evil Geniuses on pretty easily. It was a very one-sided match. But Meet Your Makers having all this time to actually practice and train up, as a quick shot and Panky were mentioning. They have the ability to do it, and with SK Telecom beating CJ Frost and then seeing a Nexus take on SK, anything can really happen today.
So talk us through these 2 lineups here, and specifically level 1. First of all, let's focus on level 1. Do you think that we're going to see anything there?
If anything, I'm going to have to say it'll be coming out. Well, EG likes to go for an aggressive ward at the Wraith camp you're currently seeing, where Makati is, but they don't really have a great team to go for a level 1 fight. I mean, Sona has some decent damage, so is Misfortune, but you won't have like a stun out of Frog or anything like that. Snoopy won't have too much damage. You only have that taunt out of Wicked as well. But for Meet Your Makers, they have the potential to do it. They have the gold card, they have the fear if they want, they have the cocoon, and they also have the Zyrograss Mirror, so they have a lot of control and a lot of damage behind it. And that's kind of what their comp is based around. They don't really have a tanky front line.
So what are we going to see from Evil Geniuses? They're on the blue side, and I've got a feeling that we're going to see exactly what we've seen out of them at LCS in terms of how they set up this level 1. They've been going for very specific ward positions. That pink ward again in the hands of Crepo. He's generally been in the right place at the right time to get rid of the wards that have been put against EG at the start. However, we can see it's very much the line defense setup here out of EG. 1 man down by the Tribush, 1 on the Wraith ramp, 1 in the middle, and then the same over on the other side. So pretty standard start here from EG. Looks like MYM going to be starting off with their Wraiths here with Makata. Charu going to be helping him. Kuban looks like he will be taking that top lane, but from EG's side, we're going to see a lane switch.
Yeah, Joe, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned Crepo and the pink ward, and he talked about when he was on the analysis desk during LCS that level 1s, they're so easy to predict almost, that if you watch any team, you can see these patterns develop of where they put wards, where they go on certain junglers, and I'm assuming he has had time to get that research down. We do see that lane switch happening with that Misfortune Sona going to be in the top lane, but we also see Meet Your Makers reacting to it, so they're going to be having the 80 carries in that top lane, or sorry, the 80 carries and supports in the top lane, and the top laners in the bottom.
Yep, nice little switch around there by Meet Your Makers, realizing that that was going to happen. So it will be the Elise versus Shen in the bottom lane, Kog'Maw Zyra versus Misfortune Sona in this top lane. Talk us through this top lane first of all, Jason. Who's got the strongest side at both stages of the game?
Oh, in the early game, Misfortune, well, EG will easily take this since Misfortune has so much damage early on. Crepo has a lot of poke with that Sona, and then Kog'Maw doesn't really do much damage until level 6 when he can pretty much overpower any kind of opponent. And then we have Zyra, who's very squishy, so they're not going to be really looking to get any early kills as they do hit level 2 pretty early on and putting some pressure on them.
Yeah, nice double up coming in here from Yellow P, actually getting good damage down on towards Makler. He's below half HP at this point. And as you said, it's going to be a bit of a bully lane. Meet Your Maker's going to have to sit back, farm up as much as he can. We know that Kog'Maw only going to be getting stronger as the game progresses. So middle lane, Twisted Fate versus Xerath, Jason.
Well, Xerath, it's all about that range, as we've been seeing what Froggen's doing so far. He just hits him from that, well, he pops that W down, hits him with his Q, and there's nothing Twisted Fate can do about it except maybe dodge on the sides. He has to get in very close to get that gold card down and really do any damage, but then it's going to come down to that level 6. What is Charu going to do with that ultimate, with that teleport? Is he going to make use out of it, or is he going to be pushed out of that laning phase too early?
Well, yeah, Charu has gone teleport, and he's got the Destiny in there as well. Something that we always see Charu play is that teleport. It doesn't seem to matter who is playing in the mid lane. He's a real big fan of going for that teleport to get in snowball those lanes out. Makler did have a few hard hits there in that top lane. He's running very, very low right now, and obviously with Zyra doesn't have the sustain here, so that could be a bit of a problem for him. I imagine he's going to go straight into a vamp set to try and fix that problem.
And the thing is, we know Lipic as an amazing Zyra. We saw in Singapore just how fantastic he was. I think he was leading his team at some point in the game with kills, but they had to kind of go for support like that. They needed some sort of protection for Makler, where you can just get dove into the back line, or Froggen might actually be able to burst it down. We have to have Char teleporting in.
Yeah, coming in down into this bottom lane. Wicked going to shadow dash away, and I'm not sure that they'll be able to catch him with this one. Actually, Flash Cocoon. Wicked flashes away from it, though. Have they got the damage here to finish off? There goes the repel. The Ignite is down. Is it enough to finish him off? The Spinaling's in there. There is a first blood for Elise.
I think that was the last take of Ignite. Yeah. Q1 picking up that great kill, and they blew a lot of summers to go for it. We were looking at each other like, that was kind of a wasted teleport, but in the end, making it worthwhile, picking up that first blood, and giving that nice advantage over to Cubone, going to be in that bottom lane.
Yeah, great little start coming out then for Meet Your Makers. Up against a very solid team in the form of Evil Geniuses. We are going to see Xerath coming in. There's the exhaust down on towards Lipic. Is they going to be able to get in there? The root comes out. Cleanse away from Froggen. They managed to pick off Lipic, and that's going to be all she wrote up there. But that is a nice kill coming down. Misfortune getting that one.
That was an amazing grassroots coming out of Lipic. Unfortunately, it didn't save him, and we had Crepo being very aggressive, flashing in just to exhaust him, just so he wouldn't get away. Overall, great play out of EG right there, and it was a very scary moment. If they didn't get that kill, they would have wasted so many things just to make that happen.
Froggen
to not get a kill.
Yeah, Froggen has used that cleanse, so as we said, to get out of the root. So we'll see if that complains things. That means he doesn't have the cleanse to get away later on from a possible gold card gank there coming out of Twisted Fate with the Nocturne coming in there. That's all ifs and buts at this stage. Let's have a look down this here. Shen got a massive lead here over Elise, despite going down early on for that first blood. 33-18 in favor of Wicked in that lane. Between the AD carries, Misfortune got a little bit of a lead. There's the vamp set that I predicted earlier on coming out of Cogmore, but he's actually facing a lot of pressure here again. That slow pretty much saving him in that. And
that void it just completely stops Misfortune in her tracks. She has that nice speed buff from her passive, but it doesn't matter when you're running through that in the end. And Joe, we're getting very close to level 6. We have Charu finally just hit it, so we have that ultimate available for if they do want to go for a gank. And also Makade is approaching that level 6 point as well. So when we see Meet Your Makers get that crucial point in levels, we should see some amazing ganks happening where, you know, Wicked, he won't be able to really ult in just because of the vision loss out of Nocturne. And that's really going to create some problems if Meet Your Makers can burst them down in time before he gets in, or you can get there.
Yeah, and Wicked again, he's pushed fairly far up this lane. If we see Nocturne coming down to the bottom side of the map, that's where we have to be really, really careful as to where this is going to go. We can see there Froggen just charging up here to have a go at Charu from as long of a range as he possibly can. Charu actually just going to head back from this one here. So we may see that Twisted Fate getting involved. Obviously, Charu went with Flash and Teleport in that lane compared to the Flash and Cleanse that we had coming out of Froggen. So no Ignite from both players. They're going to have to rely on the pure damage that they've got coming out of those abilities. But we're also seeing Snoopy headed up to level 6, which could be a counter if he's in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, he's trying to stop all that burst that comes out of MYM. And if he can hit it on the right person at the right time, they'll blow, actually, Meet Your Makers will blow a lot of abilities that they won't get back for a while. We did have Makade start at red buff, so he picks it up right now. Looks like he is heading up towards his top and to go for a gank, but Char not really in a position to help out if they do want to commit to it.
Well, he's going to have to head up quickly if he wants to be involved in that one, but it will still be a 3-on-2 gank in this top lane. The question is, do they have the power still to match Misfortune Sona? Crepo is also at level 5 right now, so it shouldn't be too long before he gets that crescendo in, and that's something that's going to stop Nocturne completely in his tracks, as we are going to see them going in here on towards Crepo, and there is the kill. Makler, they sew it up quickly, and that's because, quite frankly, they were too far away from that turret, not expecting that Nocturne gang.
And there's nothing Wicked could do about that because they killed him before that paranoia went away, and that's what you have to do with this team. Meet Your Makers playing very solid. We see the bullet time actually used just to keep that creep wave pushed out because we have Makade trying to go in for a gank on ELP, trying to go for that 3v1, and still, if they want to, they probably could get that turret down. Instead, they're going to head over towards his blue buff and deny it onto Froggy, which is actually a perfect play because Xerath, he eats a lot of mana just to push out those waves, even though he has that chalice.
Yep, and Twisted Fate actually headed over, but in the meantime, we saw Snoopy doing the blue buff of Meet Your Makers. This is a perfect read coming out of Evil Geniuses. The question is, are they going to be able to take it down before anyone comes in? Yes, they will be able to. Xerath is going to get a blue buff in the end, so all equal on that front.
Oh, Makate's still in the vicinity, though. I don't believe he actually has been spotted towards this top side. Nowhere's currently able to see him, and they easily can dive onto him once Meechmakers pushes up this lane, especially with Yellow Pete back now. We see Charu actually teleported in towards the blue buff. They are going to go for a 4-man dive here.
Yes, they are. There are two, obviously, Sona sticking around there. It is Crepo, who did die a little bit earlier on. They're going to push this lane out here. Let's see how this one goes. Middle lane is being pushed back by Evil Geniuses, and you can see that EG are a little bit wary of what's going to happen here in this top lane. Crepo's going to get caught underneath the turret. Stun card not come down, but he gets rooted in there. Makata comes around. Kill coming down for Makler. That is the second one now for this Kog'Maw, but middle lane is being pushed by Froggen and Snoopy. EG gonna take this one, but they will lose that top turret. And
they're gonna lose a little bit of damage on their mid turret as well, as everyone Meechmakers is backing away. They were able to get another kill on the Makler, so he is 2 out at this point, and we know Kog'Maw being the strongest late game carry, or at least AD carry in the game. And that turret, I mean, it's not gonna get to half health, but still, that's a really bad sign for Meechmakers. They have to protect this turret, because if they lose that, there's so much control that they're gonna be missing out on.
Yeah, they need to counter that with good ward placement, which, to be honest, Zyra got those 2 assists in there, certainly can afford to be doing stuff like that. Haunting Guys picked up by Elise to add into that Doran's ring from earlier on. And when I was talking about the blue buffs, by the way, he was actually smited down by Makata, so he took the blue on the EG side, and Xerath was given the blue, so that actually worked out better for EG in the end of it.
Yeah, actually, I don't think MYM expected Stupid to award that blue buff just to have the timing on it. But as we do see, they're going to be going for the Dragon right now. And we've seen over today and yesterday just how much Dragon control really benefits you in the entire game. It really gives you a nice advantage in gold, even if you start falling behind in CS in terms of towers. However, Meechmakers is ahead on all fronts.
Yep, now MYM going to send their AD carry support down to this bottom lane. We're pushing that one out. EG doing the same with having Yellow Pete and Crepo in that top lane. Although I say that, Crepo is actually bottom side of the map right now, so that might change here in a little bit as well. Charu, obviously, in the middle lane, got no tower behind him at this point, so needs to be a little bit wary of getting caught out from that one. We can see that Wicked, at the moment, alone on that bottom turret, but we will see Kale and Sona come around to give him that little bit of protection. And MYM need to be a little bit cautious about this one. There's a flash crescendo coming out. Taunt comes down onto Libic. Can they finish off? Oh, failed flash coming out. And that will be a kill for Wicked.
That's got to feel bad when you're that close to the wall, but because of the exhaust, just slowed down so you can't get close enough to it to flash. Very unfortunate.
And then when you do, you don't get over it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I just wasted that summoner. But Joe, it's kind of surprised. Charu has yet to use his ultimate. In every gank he's done so far, it's been through teleport, which to me is a little bit interesting since his ult has a quicker cooldown. Obviously, the first gank he didn't have it up, but I guess the second one he wanted to be a little bit sneaky in the end, but still has it available. And we do see that 3-man push on the bot lane out of EG. However, we see Makade and Makler coming down.
It doesn't matter though.
For a trap.
Froggen is, inside of that tri-bush. Here we go. He's going to get stunned up. Can they finish off? Uses the cleanse to get away. Twisted Fate going to get involved in this, but I'm not sure it's the right decision in the end. We see the darkness going to come out from Makata. That should slow things down, but Charu getting caught. Here come the roots out of Zyra. They've turned it around. Going in on towards Snoopy. He's going to die to Makler. What a turnaround there for Meet Your Makers.
And Cubon, he tried coming in from the side and flashing over that river wall, but he failed it as well. I don't think he wanted that really talked about or seen, but he could have picked up a couple of kills there. And what a perfect ultimate by Makade. It wasn't aggressive. I mean, if people forget, you can use it defensively. You can use it to just escape, lose that vision on you just so you don't take any more damage. Great play out of Meet Your Makers, turning that gank into a 1-kill advantage.
Really, really nicely done. That will leave us at 4-2 in kills for MYM. 18.8 to 16.8. Nice 2,000 gold lead. And they could bring the turret advantage back to 2-2 at this point. Wicked actually sticking onto the turret there with that Cocoon and the Zyra roots. That's definitely a dangerous decision from him. In the end, he won't get caught this time around, though. And we are going to see Kale and Sona headed towards this bottom lane.
Yeah, we currently do see a lot of money actually stacked up for Wicked at this point, as well as Yellow Pete, who's just pushing that top lane, then pushing middle, just trying to gather as much farm as possible so his ultimate really do the damage it needs late game. And Meechmakers were defended off because of Xerath. I mean, that poke, that range you have, you can clear waves so quickly, just like he's a Nivy is used to, and it's really going to benefit them in the long run if Meechmakers doesn't have the ability to get in there and hit those turrets.
So let's have a look at the CS. Wicked And Kubon actually back level now. In fact, Kubon has taken over 71 to 74. Jungle 16 CS advantage for Nocturne. Middle lane is real close, only 4 or so difference. AD carries though, 20 CS lead for Yellow Pete. But 3 kills on Cogmore. He's now 5,000. That would be a big deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was like,
500 gold ahead of the Misfortune.
And this is a really crucial point there, because he's trading CS for kills. Actually, do see Stupid getting caught in his own jungle, but should be able to escape. And they really wanted to deny that blue buff away again. However, we did see obviously last time Froggen took the enemy blue buff. So, but what Kogma's doing, he's trading the CS for the kills, but if they don't make plays off of it, then it's going to work out against them. He's going to fall behind, and EG's going to have the ability to start doing some hard engages on these team fights.
Well, we can see the EG with 4 men here trying to secure this blue buff, which is all well and good, but at the end of the day, it's the blue buff which is going to be respawning. The tower in the middle certainly won't respawn if they end up losing that one here. Twisted Fate and Zyra, between them, going to take it down. That's a brilliant play out of MYM.
Yeah, very smart play. I mean, they had Makati just sticking around, not even trying to take the blue. I mean, maybe potentially smite it away, but just to keep them there, just to protect it so they lose their mid turret in the end. And Mackler now, he's going into this bottom lane, just trying to get this turret down as well, trying to catch up and farm a little bit. But with that turret, he's going to get even farther ahead of Misfortune. And Meteor Makers, I mean, with a 3-0 Kog'Maw, who probably has Infinity's Edge done very soon, that's a really scary thing to go up against at this point. You don't have anyone with... Well, you don't have anyone really tanky enough to go into it. I mean, Shen, yeah, he will have that Sunfire Cape done very shortly, but still, I mean, if you hit someone else besides Shen, they're going to drop like a rock.
Yeah, and what items have we seen coming out in these last moments, which is not talked about? So, the Themes Hunt Unholy Grail being finished off there by Froggen. We've got the Giant's Belt plus the Chain Vest for Shen, so he's headed up nicely. Oh, they did steal a blue in the end. Okay.
Yeah,
in the end, they stole it, but we were looking at the tower in the middle lane when it happened. So.
Yeah, apparently Makati did
for that one.
Apparently Makati actually did steal it away with that smite. So Froggen,
so it was an even better play out of Meteor Makers than we thought before.
It was already good before, but now it was an amazing play out of them. And we do have Cubon picking up his haunting guys like he had before, but now with that Giant's Belt, to be working towards a Rylai's or that Warmog's armor that they need at this. They're going to need this, because all you really have is Nocturne, who isn't really tanky at this point. He has a phage. They need that protection. They need someone to soak up this damage that EG can put out, and they're up against that Kale ultimate. So if they use all their bursts on a someone, it won't really affect them in the end, and they're going to have that sustained damage, which Mackler will bring to the table.
So where's the next action going to come in? We've got 10 seconds for the Dragon. Seems like the obvious point moving up. And look at the ward coverage on that bottom side here. Pink ward, pink ward, pink ward all along the river. And as I say that, there's pink ward number 4. This time coming out of Evil Geniuses to clear one out. But Meteor Makers have got good coverage on that bottom side as well. We'll see how this one all goes down. There's another ward put around the corner from Zyra. MYM not in the best position. However, Charu does have teleport available along with that Destiny, so he can come in there, but also move on later to chase in. That's something that we don't really talk about that much with Twisted Fate. So we talk more about him getting into the fight, but that allows him that ability to really chase off and mop up the kills at the end. EG going to start off here. They're on top of a pink ward, and we are going to see Meteor Makers coming in around the side. The cocoon not landing, but the roots will land onto Froggen. Here comes the Zyra ultimate in there. The intervention came onto Froggen, but it might be too late. Oh, Makata flashed over for the chase, but he'd already got the kill. Mackler getting one. Stan United going to come in there. The bullet time ripping through MYM. They all go low, but will they get the kills? Dragon has gone down there in the final seconds of it as the flash comes out from Yellow Pete. Here is the Destiny, though. Where's Twisted Fate going to go? He's down at the bottom, flashes into Snoopy. There's the wild card finisher. Destiny is already timed out. Wicked is still in the Dragon Pit low. Zyra actually coming in around the side, and there is a finisher from Mackler again. And now they're chasing down onto Yellow Pete. Can they finish this one off, though? He gets slowed out, blocks that one with the shield for at least for a little while, and he gets the fear onto Yellow Pete. They lock him down for the kill, and the ace here, at least a delayed one, coming out of Meteor Makers.
And that was so confusing off the beginning. They invested so many wards into that Dragon Pit, into the bottom half of the jungle for EG, and then for them to come in there, Makati dove straight into the backline with that ultimate, got Froggen killed instantly. And the thing was, Froggen tried using his ultimate to get Mackler out of the fight, or at least push him low enough so he couldn't afford to be in there. But Mackler, smart enough, just stayed away. He flashed out of the ultimates and didn't get harmed at all. And then we saw Yellow Pete. He had his flash available in the Dragon Pit, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to fight this instead of running away. Almost picking up 2 or 3 kills there, but Meteor Makers running away perfectly. We're able to get an ace with no deaths.
See, because of how that went down there at the end with a bullet time, Yellow Pete actually played it super smart, as in, there's 3 guys there, but they're all low.
Right.
He knew that Makata had flashed over the wall behind him, couldn't come back in, but Makata was full HP, so if it had gone over the wall, perhaps Makata could have killed him. Of course, he died in the end when when they all collapsed in around him anyway, but interesting little fight there. Meteor Maker's coming out heavily on top, almost a 6,000 gold lead.
Well, at least he was able to secure the dragon
That's
first
true
team,
as
so
well.
since Makata was on the other side of that wall, wasn't able to smite it, so picked up a little bit of gold, a little bit of something on nothing, but in the end, I mean, the dragon for 5 deaths of your team, not really the kind of trade you're looking to have.
No.
And Mackler, look at him now, 5-0-1, has 7,000 gold about total at this point. His counterpart has 5,500, so he has a nice, huge lead right there. And also Charu, I mean, we were looking at the picks and bans, and we saw him pick Twisted Fate, and we were kind of like, you know, we weren't too impressed with every time we've seen it, even in Tokyo Masters Cologne, but he's definitely shown, he's been working on it, and his whole team is really been adapting to that kind of pick in the mid lane.
We see with Nocturne, got the Phage Brutalizer, and that Giant's Belt in there as well. So Frozen Mallet, by the looks of things, going to come out at the end there. Of course, could end up just getting a bit of everything and then moving into his main items later on, which is certainly something that we're used to at this point, as we are seeing Meteor Makers coming around again. Blue buff this time is going to go over to Frog, and we can say it with safety this time around. MYM a little bit too slow to go in, but let's say, thank you very much. 2 ward kills, that pink going down. And Charu may even look to push this bottom lane out, which is there to cover though.
Look what's happening right now. Maker's going for a sneaky Baron, only 20 minutes in, and EG has no vision on this. It looks like they won't even be able to stop it anyways, because Mackler's so fed. He can take this down extremely quickly. Shen in the bot lane just backing out, and that will be a very early Baron going over to Meteor Makers.
Yeah, what a pickup as well. They've had no idea that this was going to happen. They had vision there on Crepo, and we'll see Zyra running through that Baron buff and saying, well, that's not good news, as see the paranoia pops here, and he's actually going to come in on towards Crepo. Where's the fear going to send him? Sends him actually back towards the turret, and Makata is going to go down. Bullet time comes in, and that was not the best decision. Meteor Maker's not able to follow up on that one afterward, and hey, run away. Charu just coming in to try and zone them back to make sure the rest of his team's safe. But not the best call we've ever seen.
That really confused me, because Charu had his ultimate up. If he wanted to go in and see where everyone on EG was, he could have just popped that first, and then that would have probably made Makata say, hey, I should probably not go in here.
Yeah.
Let the ultimate be wasted, but to keep myself alive. And a big blitz play right there, and it might be what EG needs to get back in this game.
Well, in terms of gold, they're behind, but we'd be lying if we said we've not seen EG in this position before.
Have they ever came back from a gold deficit? I can't think of any.
25k? No problem. We're EG. We can hold this game out. But again, it's a different setup to what we're seeing before. And well, those kind of games only come around once every blue moon. It's Wicked just going to shadow dash himself away from the Elise Cocoon, but he won't get away from the stun card. There is Kuban to finish off. Nice gank out of Meteor Makers. Brilliant play.
And the thing is, we were talking about how EG, can come back from gold deficits and win games with 25,000 gold behind. But there's one thing that's really key here. It's Mackler. He's Kog'Maw, and we've seen him in Intellectual Masters Clone just how amazing he is at micromanaging, dodging skill shots, and just staying alive in general.
Yeah, and I really like the fact that Libic has gone for boots of mobility here. Means that they can really move around that map quickly, catch people out a lot easier, and really get in there for the root. That's what Libic's going to be used for later on in this game, is that CC that can bring to the table, as Makata going to be pushing this top lane out as well here. So a little bit of a split push coming on. EG going to have to react to this at some point. And in the end, Makata just throws the minions through, lets them do their damage, and will back away.
You see Meteor Maker's picking up a couple of big items as well. Q1 has that Crystal Scepter done. You see the Lich Bane being picked up for Charu now, so that presence of him being able to backdoor you with the teleport, with the ultimate, is becoming very real, that threat he provides. You see the Infinity's Edge and the Zeal now done for Mackler. There's just so much damage on Meteor Makers. I mean, Q1 has a lot because of that percent, and also the items he has. You have Nocturne as well, has a Brutalizer, even the Berserker Gears on top of that. And then Twisted Fate, I mean, they can just burst someone down. If they stun anyone, even if it's Wicked at this point, and he gets caught out, he will die.
Going to be dangerous times for EG. But they know how to sit back and soak up that pressure. They've seen Yellow Pete down here in the bottom lane. Are they going to go in for him? Yes, we are going to see that teleport coming down. Stan United comes out instantly there, and they may just try and turn this around onto Charu. Here comes Libic down. That's what I'm talking about with the boost of mobility. Yeah, he can't follow Twisted Fate through. They can damn well run pretty fast to catch up. And
it looks like with this ward in this jungle right here, they were able to spot it over towards the red buff. So well, we saw Wicked flash in to try to go for a taunt, but instead he just backed away just to make sure he didn't get caught out, because if he died, that should be an inhibitor turret and inhibitor taken from Meteor Makers. And with this Baron, with the control they have around this map, they don't really have an Oracle at this point, which is a little bit confusing since they're trying to be aggressive. They still just have a lot of control in general at this point, and that Dragon picked up 9,000 gold lead for MYM.
9,000 gold, really solid position to be in. And as I said, we've already seen one team losing today from the LCS against a non-LCS team with the Nexus taking down SK. Oh, Yellow Pete's in a lot of trouble. And when I say a lot of trouble, I mean he is dead. As we are going to see him going towards Snoopy as well. Are they going to get the stun down? Yes, they are. Does have intervention available, but if he was to burn that there, that would mean that they don't have it later on when it really counted there for the team. In the meantime, Meteor Makers push, took down the inner turret in the middle. They may be able to take that turret down. Oh, the intervention, last second for Snoopy. Crescendo comes down, but Makla's ripping through them. Focus coming down onto Crepo. Can they get the finisher? Not quite, but they're going to force him away. Zyra taking the turret hits there as well. Meteor Makers are still pushing down the bottom. Zyra takes another big hit, but Makla's still hitting the turret. This is going to be 2 inhib turrets going down directly after each other, and that is great play coming out of Meteor Makers, but they may end up getting caught. Here comes the TP away, and he almost got away from it there. Gets killed off in the end.
And Meteor Maker, such a great play right there. We had a split push happening. We even saw Makate's ultimate go down, which confused the hell out of me. I was like, why is he not going after Froggen? Because he wanted to get Yellow Pete, but in the end, he was able to get Froggen's Flashbone as well. And then also the Repel used out of Q1. He dodged a Crescendo, he dodged a Shadow Dash, and came back down and was there to provide even more damage. Great play out of him. Great play out of Meteor Makers in general. And they have those, well, they have the bottom inhibitor down, and they have that middle one to go if they want to take it. Baron will be up in about 3 minutes. So they have that also. The game is in their hands right now. I mean, it's pretty much up to them to lose at this point because they have such a huge advantage.
So when I was talking earlier about Makata buying a bit of everything to get everything at once later on, just picks up Frozen Mallet and Black Cleaver in that back. So, well, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Obviously that needlessly large rod in there with Twisted Fate. Phantom Dancer now added in to the Infinity Edge from Kog'Maw, and this is where it gets so scary. I mean, compare that over to Misfortune, Bloodthirst, a Pickaxe. Well, you can't compare it, that's really the point.
and the thing is, Makler, what does EG have to get into that backline against him? Nothing. They're depending on Froggen.
Yeah.
They're depending on him to kill him. And with the way it's been going so far, Makler's been avoiding it as much as possible. He has a flash up, has the cleanse, and that's the only thing he's really scared of, is if he does get that E onto him, he's going to cleanse away if he does get stunned right after. He doesn't have to worry about Wicked getting in his face because he can destroy Wicked at this point. And also he has Cubone, he has Makati, he has Charu, able to back him up and do some damage.
Oh, Twisted Fate pinging down there towards that inhibitor. I wonder if EG are going to be expecting this one. Meteor Makers pushing out, and I think the ping's coming down there. I mean, EG are just backing off a little bit as we are going to see that ulti from Twisted Fate being popped, but where is he going to go? Is he going to come into the back? No, he's going to come into the front as the ulti comes down from Nocturne. Yellow Pete going to take a lot of damage. It's not going to save him though there. The ulti out of Kale. Here comes Stan United on towards Snoopy, but they are chasing down Stun Card on Crepo. Double kill for Makler. They get 3 for nothing at this point. Libic is charging in. We got the teleport coming in onto the Nexus here from Charu. He's actually going to head Froggen off as they come into the base. Is he going to die to Snoopy? Of course he's not, but Froggen will catch him off. But that may be all she wrote here for EG. They get aced. First spawn coming up in 15 seconds. That's only Sona. And there's super minions in there. First Nexus turret goes down. Second one going to fall. And Meteor Makers are going to take down Evil Geniuses here in the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. What a